Good day, viewers. We follow up on bow hunting of dangerous game, more specifically buffalo. In the previous videos we explained the anatomy of a buffalo, how unique it is compared to other bovines across the world, with the overlapping ribs, very thick, very tough, tough leathery skin, muscle, tissue, sinews. It's armor plated, and we're carrying on today, and I'm going to explain the requirements for shafts. We've done a short video on broadheads. Now we're doing the shafts. As you can see here, I've got 3 shafts laid out here. It's my personal shafts that I use for the hunting of thick-skinned animals. On top here we've got the Eastern Axis 250, which is a very well constructed arrow. It gives you 17.2 grains per inch weight. They are not cut shorter. I like to have the heaviest arrow I can launch, because for penetration of your thick-skinned animals you need momentum, not kinetic energy. For those who know the formulas, you'll know that momentum uses weight equally to speed, where kinetic energy uses speed twice and weight only once. Now for penetration you need weight, you need momentum. I always advise my clients, especially on buffalo, any setup, any bow that can launch a 750 grain arrow as a minimum at 220 feet per second will do the job if shot placement is right. Anything heavier than that will do better. Now, contrary to belief, a giraffe is one of the toughest animals to penetrate because of its own unique anatomy and skin and ribs and bone. What works for a buffalo may not work for a giraffe. You need quite a bit more momentum to penetrate a giraffe adequately. The same goes for elephant and hippo. Rhino can unfortunately not be bow hunted anymore anywhere in the world, and that's because of irresponsible bow hunters, irresponsible professional hunters and outfitters who either try and push the envelope or they've got no experience in it, and therefore there's a moratorium on the hunting of rhino in South Africa. And along with Namibia, it was the only 2 countries where you could legally hunt a rhino. Namibia does not allow the bow hunting of dangerous game. Now, the second arrow is also the Eastern full metal jacket dangerous game, but that's the 300 spine. It's a little bit lighter, around 15 grains per inch. Very good arrow. I love the aluminum carbon combination, especially with the aluminum on the outside. If the arrow should break on release or something, it breaks cleanly and it doesn't shatter like a full carbon arrow that can end up in your hand, and believe me, that will be a painful experience. Also, these Eclipses, very good arrows. The lightest arrow of the 3 is this one. It weighs 700 grain. I use a very heavy broadhead on it, and the total arrow weight for that will be 760 grain. My 250 spine Eastern weighs 900 grain, and this Eclipse weighs 1200 grain, complete with broadhead and everything. Any setup that can launch, as mentioned, a 750 grain arrow as a minimum at 220 feet a second will be good enough for buffalo. The 2 top arrows, especially the middle one, I use it for hippo, for the occasional elephant, and I've never found them wanting. You will also notice that at the back they are fletched with feathers. Personal opinion of mine, I've used feathers for many years. I prefer them to vanes. I use a minimum of 4-inch feathers, preferably 5-inch, because they stabilize such a heavy arrow much better. They're more forgiving, and when the arrow penetrates completely, a feather collapses and it doesn't hinder penetration as much as a vane does. Very few people realize how much a vane grabs hold of the muscle and bone in that inside an animal, and it stops a complete pass-through. I'm a firm believer in a complete pass-through on animals. Number one, you can get your shaft back again, and number two, an exit hole leaves more blood on the ground to follow than an entrance wound. Now, you will not really get an exit on animals like hippo and elephant, but for buffalo, for sure. I've had complete pass-throughs on buffalo, shot on the shoulder, not behind the shoulder like I explained in the previous videos, and from not that heavier setups, because today's technology helps us for lighter poundage, better performance. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a belief out there to cut shafts shorter because it looks good. Now, looks don't bring back the bacon. Leave your shafts long. It helps with weight, because you need weight when you want to hunt these animals. You do not need speed at all. So next time we're going to carry on with our dangerous game bow hunting videos. This is just a short introduction to explain the shafts that I've found most successful in my career. Thank you.